buttons. That's 4 different places where I should be able to do it in just one on StreamYard. But hey ho, we're here. Hopefully we're live in all of these groups. Yep, we seem to be live in my group. I seem to be live in NeuroBoost, and I seem to be live everywhere else. So good, we got there in the end. Sorry I'm late this morning, everybody. I did say 11 o'clock, where I've advertised it on some of the platforms, but tech did not want to do it for 11 o'clock. Tech wanted to do it in its own time. So I have been led by technology this morning. So welcome TikTok, welcome all the other platforms to this live, where I'm going to be talking about something a bit gentler, I suppose, today. I want to be talking to you about feel goals. And as entrepreneurs, as business owners, we are very familiar with setting goals about what we want to achieve, but not always about how we want to feel. And I want to get that on the agenda today and flip that so that we can start considering ourselves and how we feel more in business. Anyway, that's the topic for today. So for those of you that don't know me, I am Mandy Nicholson, and I am the Creative Genius Consultant. I'm an artist, I'm an author. Sorry, I'm just going to decline someone joining me on TikTok. I'm a creative retreat owner here in Scotland, and I help creative women and many more people, particularly neurodivergent women, there's a huge connection, to launch, grow and scale their businesses and to make more money. I'm very familiar with how, as creatives, how as neurodivergents, we neglect ourselves in the big scheme of things. We are often so focused on task or so focused on how we're feeling, we don't necessarily know how we want to feel. And one of the things I've done for a very long time, many, many years now, because I'm not a young bird anymore, many years, is that I have set goals about how I want to feel and featured them equally in my business alongside the goals about what I want to achieve and how I want the rest of my life to look. And I suppose I've always done this. It's been a standard for me to do this. I've always thought about this because I consider myself the most important asset in my business. And you should too, because without you, you wouldn't have a business. Without you, nothing would operate. There would not be processes and systems. There would not be a product or a service at the end. So how important are you in the operation and the growth of your business? You're so important. You're the most important thing. Forget the tech. Yeah, forget the websites, forget the process of creating all of that. If you're not good and you're not feeling good, then how do you make that happen? It becomes more difficult. So when you're setting goals, I always talk about this. I talk about this in my creative mastermind and outside of my creative mastermind. Many moons ago, and I mean many moons ago, I read a book called, and isn't that typical? You forget the name of the book. Listen, can you tell I'm neurodivergent? Forget the name of the book, The Game of Life and How to Play It. That's the name of the book. It came back to me. This is what happens with my brain, and it happens with so many creatives and so many neurodivergents. You're going to see me do it all the time. I'll go off at a tangent. I'll start talking about something else, and I'll forget what the hell I'm talking about. It's just the way it is. You have to accept me as I am, and if you don't, you can do one. Off you go. Anyway, The Game of Life and How to Play It. Now, I read this book many moons ago. In fact, it was written by a creative woman in 1928, at a time where women did not have any sort of position in society or any voice really in society. And this was quite a rebellious woman. I'm going to guess that she was neurodivergent, and I'm going to guess that, she found things difficult, but did it anyway. So The Game of Life and How to Play It. And in that book, she introduced a theory called the perfect square. And I have used that as a business model. I've developed it as a business model since then. Since the dawn of time, I've been using that since I first read that book. And the perfect square is about balance in life. There is no work-life balance, because if work isn't good and you're not enjoying it, there's no balance anyway. Work is part of your life. So what she suggests is that there's a perfect square to life. There's 4 sides to that square. And that's wealth, health, love, and self-expression. And each of those has an equidistant part in your life. A square has equal sides. So each of those is equally as important. Health, wealth, love, and self-expression. So wealth is obvious. That's the job you do or the business you run. Okay, it's important. It holds a 25% share of your life. It holds one side of the perfect square. Wealth, how you generate wealth, and that isn't just wealth in monetary terms. That's abundance in all things. Wealth is more than just money. So health, wealth, love, that is self-love first and foremost, and relationships, family relationships, romantic relationships, friendship relationships, all of the love relationships, animals and pets, all of those things important in your life. One full side of the perfect square. And then self-expression, how we express ourselves. This is so important to those of you that are creative. Yeah. How we express ourselves, whether that's, whether you're creative, you're an artist, you're a sculptor, you're a potter, you're a knitter, crocheter, whatever it is, however you express yourself. That might be dancing or theatre. It might be going to watch dancing or theatre. It might be participating. So self-expression has that equal importance. And until we have equal importance, the perfect square on all of those areas in our lives, then life doesn't feel right. This is where depression and unease, dis-ease sets in for us. And that includes in your business. You can't quite make sales. You can't do the things that you should be doing. And it's because you've got dis-ease in your perfect square. And part of that is not accepting that you are equally important and actually essential to the operation of your business, to the success of your business, and to the operation of your life, and to the success of your life. Equally as important. You are the most important thing. So why wouldn't you set feel goals? So when you're sitting down doing your annual planning or your quarterly planning or your monthly or weekly planning, including in there some feel goals is so important. Very easy to set sales targets, isn't it? It's linear. Yeah, I want to do X, Y, Z, and in order to achieve X, Y, Z, I'm going to do A, B, C. That's very strategic. It's very linear. And we can set goals around all of the things we want to achieve in our business. But I want you this week and next week and this month and next month to give equal focus and time to feel goals. How do you want to feel? So if you hit your sales target, does that make you feel abundant? Does it make you feel, because a lot of people hit the sales target and don't feel abundant and don't feel happy because it isn't the thing that brings them the joy. So if they're not doing the self-expression quadrant of life, side of the perfect square, or they're not achieving their health as well as they could, then they feel out of balance and out of line. As I said, there's no work-life balance. There's just the perfect square. Everything is equally important. And you are the center pin. You are at the central dot of that square, connecting everything. So setting feel goals is really important. So when you're writing your other strategic goals, think about how you want to feel. So how do I want to feel this month? Do I want to feel relaxed? Do I want to feel joyous? Do I want to feel fulfilled? What are the descriptive words that I can use to quantify how I want to feel? And I want you to be specific here. So if you want to feel joyous, what does joyous mean to you? What does joy mean to you? What brings you that joy? Out of the things that are housed in your perfect square, what are the things that bring you the most joy? And how much of that have you got planned into the next week, month, quarter? Yeah. If you want to feel fulfilled, what is it that makes you feel fulfilled? What are the things you need to do? So when I say get specific, I want you to find that word that describes how you want to feel. Look for it, think about it, put some time into it, just like you do with your sales targets and your marketing plans and your PR plans and your other strategy in your business. Put some time thinking about the word that describes how you want to feel. That's how specific I want you to be. And I want that to be measurable. I'm going to use SMART here. So I want that to be measurable. If you want to feel fulfilled, how will you measure your fulfillment at the end of the week or month? How will you measure it? What will it be that allows you to say, yes, I feel fulfilled? It's not just a, yes, I feel like that. No, I don't feel like that. So what do you need? How do you need to measure it? First of all, I think you need to be honest. You've got to have an honest measure of that. How do other people feel around you? Have they noticed a difference? Can you get some feedback? How are you going to measure it? Is it achievable to feel the way you want to feel, the goals that you're setting? Is that actually achievable? So if at the moment you're filled with anxiety or you're depressed, you're not happy, is it achievable to set a goal of feeling joyous? It might not be. However, it might be by the end of the quarter if you can put some specific things in place that are going to lead you to that place. So you've got to put in something there like you would with a sales goal or any other goals that is achievable. And then that has to be realistic. Is it realistic for you to go from depressed to jumping down joyously down the high street or showing up joyously in places? Is that realistic for you to be able to do that in the time scale that you've allocated to it? So here we're thinking strategically about how we feel, not about business. We're thinking strategically about how we feel because it's important. And I'm going to come to why it's so important very shortly. And then timely, we're going into timing, time scale. Like I've just said, realistically, can you achieve that feel goal in that time scale? Yeah, if you want to go from feeling a feeling of lack to a feeling of abundance, would a week be long enough for you to achieve that? So as you can see, it's harder than you think, as is planning strategically for sales and for marketing and for social media content. You put lots of time into that. And I want you to think about that perfect square now and the feelings that go along with it. If you put too much time into one thing and not enough time into the other areas of that perfect square, it's out of balance. It doesn't make a square. It's an odd shape. And that's sometimes how it feels, odd. When there's not enough wealth, we feel out of kilter. It infects our emotions. It can affect our love relationships. It can affect our health. It can take us away from our self-expression. So putting too much in one area. So we focus, you'll see it a lot where people focus on the business. It's all they do. They have no life outside of business, and relationships suffer. And their health suffers. Their wealth might be okay. They might be making plenty of money. But in other areas, they're out of sync. They're out of kilter. Their perfect square has collapsed. So when planning, feel goals are as important as anything else that you plan for. Learning how to focus on that, particularly in the neurodivergent community, who, I'm speaking to this morning, as well as all of my other communities. Sometimes it's difficult for you to understand your emotions, for you to understand how you're feeling right now and how you want to feel, and to have an impact on that. It can be really hard, but that's perhaps part of the feel goals, that maybe you need third-party intervention. Maybe you need a coach or some counseling or somebody to help you with setting the goals that are going to help you move from where you are now to where you want to be. And it's always that, isn't it? Moving from where you are now to where you want to be. And you can't always do it on your own, whether you're setting strategic business goals or marketing goals or field goals. Sometimes you need third-party intervention. That third-party intervention could be a business colleague where you could buddy up and exchange skills. It doesn't have to be paid for, but actually there are some really good experts out there that can help you address the imbalance in your perfect square and focus on why it's as important to look at how you're feeling as it is to look at your business strategy. So that's a much shorter live than I would normally do, but there's still a lot to talk about. If you've got any questions on that, because it can feel a bit odd when you start hearing this, if you've got any questions on that, please ask away in the comments. I will try and come back to you all today if I can. On TikTok, if you're watching, please do ask, because I'm happy to answer any of those questions. I've been working this way for so long now, it becomes second nature to me. And whenever I do my annual planning, this is how I do it. I use the perfect square. I look at all the different areas in my life. I try to do my best in areas where some of it is out of my control. So for the last couple of years, my health, some of those issues have been out of my control. I can't control some of the things that have happened to my body, and there are knock-on effects from that. But I can do my best every single day to put in as much time into my health as I do to other areas of my life. And that's all I can do, as long as it doesn't disappear off the goal sheet. But today is about how you want to feel. And if how you want to feel is not in pain anymore or physically better, what can you do to make that change? Because you can. Every single one of us can every single day. You might need third-party intervention or some help, but you can. So lovely to see you. Although I can't see you, you can see me. I will be here same time, same place next week. If you've got any questions on field goals or the perfect square, then do let me know. I do have a one-page handout. If anyone wants a copy of that, get into my DMs or message here and I'll send you a copy of the perfect square, because it does help when you are thinking about setting field goals. If you've got something to have a look at, something tangible. So if you think you would benefit from that, then do ask me and I will send it to you in Messenger. Have an awesome week, everybody. Remember, think about how you want to feel this week and really go for that. Start setting some goals, and I will see you same time, same place next week with something different. Bye for now.